Hey, we're back today, Monday, my notes app. Turning 30 in a few days. I actually ended up getting like really kind of like run down slash like head coldy over the weekend. I felt like we have just been like so go, go, go. And I was like really ramping up for the birthday week. And then like had such a, you just have like 24 hours, it's just like maybe even longer than that, like 36 hours, just like very full on. And I think like I was in such a good mood and like so excited. Like I was like got now like 3 job interviews this week, and it all just kind of like came together like I don't know, all at once, right at the same time. And then I think because I was like, okay, this weekend, which is like the last weekend, I just want to chill, like, because I've got such a big week coming up. That is when I start to feel run down, and so classic. But anyway, so like yesterday I was just like really not feeling well, and I was like, I really don't want to be sick for my birthday, and like I've got like a 30th this weekend, and I've got like job interviews this week. Like I've been like manifesting this stuff to come in now, and like I've been really like, and now it's here to like get run down and a little bit sick at that point has just been like very disheartening. But I mean, I asked for these interviews, so I can't, like think like that. But yesterday I was like, there's just absolutely no way I can make a video. I feel like horrendous. I was trying to like vlog certain parts of my day. I don't know if I'm ever gonna post this. I told you that I'm not a vlogger. Like I really enjoy watching other people's vlogs, but I just don't know if like I have the right, I don't know, call like personality for it. Anyway, trying it while I was sick was definitely just not the smartest thing to do. And we'll see if I might like play around with editing it this week and see if I'm like feel inspired to post it or whatever. You never know with these things. But I took like some Armour Force on an empty stomach. I just had like forgotten that I hadn't like eaten a proper breakfast because I wasn't feeling well, and so I like had a few bites of like a hash brown or something. This was the only thing we had. I had to like cook it from the freezer because we'd run out of bread, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm so sick. Like you should never. It was like worse than taking like a Nurofen or ibuprofen on an empty stomach. Like it was really not good. And I feel like there's something, it's just like the light, I don't know. I got more like lip filler, like, oh, what's it called? No, Botox in my lip to try to do a lip flip because it didn't really flip the last time. And it's starting to feel really weird and numb, and I thought it looked really uneven, but I think it's just some weird light that's going on here. Anyway, so I would recommend never taking an Armour Force on empty stomach because I felt even worse. I was like trying to beat the sickness, and then I made myself like actually nauseous. So then I spent like an hour nursing that, and like found some like, there was some bread in the freezer that was a little bit like, when it like gets like the freezer gets into it, and I think it's like not actually like very good or like freshly preserved anymore, but I just ate it in the end because I was like, I'm just gonna need something to settle the stomach. We didn't have any bananas. Just like not prepared for, a kind of a moment like that to strike. But anyway, I think like it kind of got me reflecting on like YouTube and like vlogging in general. Like I just have so much appreciation for people who have like vlog every day of their lives. Like there's so many things I'd love to see, like I should probably just find this on YouTube, but like a behind the scenes, like how it all comes together, because I mean it's just like I feel like it's quite hard. And also if you're like, maybe a bit different if you're living alone, or maybe that's just the biggest excuse, or if you're like, you just have to accept that it like is fully part of your life. But I really have been thinking, well, sometimes when I'm making these, it's actually just like not necessarily going to be like a full episode. And I think sometimes I was like pressuring this to be like, I've got all these things on my notes app that I'm like, I want to talk about and I've thought about, but sometimes they're just like quite rapid fire. They're less of like a, hey, let's have a chat for like half an hour and really like sit with this. Which is why I've kind of been like, okay, maybe it's time to experiment with different formats and yeah, just like have a few more that are a little bit, I guess, more free-flowing and relaxed. But I also just have no idea what people, or you, if you're listening or watching this, like really, you know, what kind of content you're looking for. Like, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to do and fill is like a space that I feel like I don't get enough of. And it might be because I am not for, like, I am sure that there are people on the internet doing exactly what I'm doing, and like there's a guarantee of that, right? And I think sometimes you just like, you might be on a different side of TikTok or YouTube, or like your network is slightly different, or it's in a different country, and I find that so interesting that like sometimes I've just like never heard of these people, and now that they're coming up, I guess because I'm like sharing more of this content and I'm engaging with it, and like things are coming up as suggested, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try that, like that's interesting, like I haven't heard of her before. So yeah, and I'm also just like starting to really enjoy more of the long form content again. Like I feel like vlogging, and even just like watching podcasts in video format, and like the chicken shop and like the hot ones, like I have this like feeling or craving to like make my attention span better, or like just to like sit and like watch one thing for a while. Like I do find on TikTok, like even if I'm listening to something interesting, like, and TikTok you can do long form, and I've like experimented with that on my account as well, but like it's like my brain is so used to just like, I want to go what's next, even if I am somewhat interested in whatever that person is saying or what like they're talking about or reflecting on. And it like, it's not all the time, but I have found that like, you know, if I'm like doing that scrolling, I'm like, hang on, like I just want to like watch one thing and just like sit with it. And so that's where I've actually found like now, like, because I watch a lot of YouTube with my partner. He's like he's always had a premium subscription, and we like, one of our favorite like activities to do if we're like having a night in together and like having some wine, and you know, we don't necessarily feel like watching a movie, and we kind of like play different YouTube things, or we watch a lot of like comedy off YouTube and news and things like that. But we love watching like old music clips, like Tina Turner and like, I don't know, like Michael Jackson, like anything like kind of like vintage but like live performance. Like it's so much fun. And that's how I've previously engaged with YouTube. But now I'm actually like finding creators that, or you know, like I've always like watched Hannah Chody on TikTok, and she's like talked about her YouTube, and I'm like, oh yeah, and now I've like watched a few, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like, and like, but her like vlogs are like her life's actually really interesting, and I'm like, I don't think I could, like my life is not this interesting. Do you know what I mean? Hence my like day on the couch just so feeling sick and sorry for myself. But yeah, I mean, that's like, I guess like Emma Chamberlain was saying that in like a lot of her vlogs I was watching from like 2020 or like COVID times, and she's just like living the same day but she's also just like so naturally entertaining, and I love that. And like, you know, like really can see why she was just like, she's been as successful as she is, and I think like will continue to reach new levels. Like, and so it is quite interesting watching like the different types of vlogs that are out there, and like some of them are just like so not engaging at all, but like some like Emma, like you can watch like 2 or 3 in a row. And it was very therapeutic when I was sick yesterday. I was like, maybe I should be productive and like try and do a vlog, and I just was like, this is just, I don't think this is me. But you know, sometimes we gotta push ourselves to try new things, and that is what I was that is what I was trying. Anyway, maybe if I have a week where I'm actually, like this week is like my 30th week, so maybe I should vlog this week rather than trying to do a day, because I don't think my days are A, that interesting, and B, I don't know if I'm like good enough at like multitasking. Like I tried to do that. Like I was like, I'm gonna make my like soupy chicken for dinner, which is like my favorite thing to cook when it's like my mum's recipe when I'm sick. And I was like getting stuff wrong, and I don't know, you know, you just like, I think I just had it on the stove, like you gotta like saute the onion and what is the other thing, fennel, and I'm like, I didn't even put the stove on, and I'm just like standing there being like, why is the oil like not sizzling yet, like it should be. Because I was focused on 2 things at once, and that was not working. Anyway, but yeah, I think it's interesting. It's also like, I feel like you have to be like so good at like just like just getting out the phone and being like, let's like capture this, or like if you're using a proper camera, I guess, and B, just like really talking through the activity that you're doing. And I don't think I am like naturally good at that. I feel like if I'm sitting down and almost like not doing anything, then I can talk about things. But even if I was like filming like a cooking video right now, I'm never gonna do that. But you know, if I was doing that and I was talking about this, I could maybe do that. But it's trying to like talk about the actual process of cooking while doing it, completely unnatural to me. And I don't know if that's a skill. And I also know there are some vlogs that like, a lot of them are like, you're like videoing different things and then you're chopping it together, and you might have like a voiceover or like a song. So I'm not like, there could be some other ways to vlog if you're not good at like annotating the activity that you're doing. But at the same time, I'm like, you know, maybe you just gotta play to our strengths sometimes. And I don't think that is one of mine, you know? That's what this whole like turning 30 is about, realizing not everything has to be a strength, and you like, I think, need to find success, or you will find success when you double down on like, hey, this just is like naturally effortless to me. And like, if it's, you know, and that's great, and I don't know what that means or where this goes, but like, I don't want to try and be someone else online. Like, I'm just gonna be me and talk about things that like I find interesting, that I find effortless to like kind of research and analyze and understand, and like, and hope that there might be some people I guess out there that feel similarly. And yeah, maybe it's not gonna have as big of a reach, but at least I'll find my like community and my people, which I kind of love. But yeah, I also just think like doing this has been great practice for my own kind of like speaking and communication, and just like, because I do naturally process a lot of thoughts out loud, and like, I guess I was saying I find it hard to process my feelings out loud, but I think my feelings are like, the way I process them is through this kind of like analysis. And so I think doing this more often, right, around like processing it out loud means every time I do it, I'm able to get more and more succinct about it, because I do think that in some jobs that I've had previously, like that has been a comment, right? Like you sometimes take a while to get to like what the point is or what you're trying to get across. And I think that has both been in one, not having enough confidence. Like I used to kind of like hedge what I was gonna say, or like it was pretty bad, but like I'd be like testing where the other person was at, like if it was like a manager or something, and then if they started to make a face of like confusion, I'd be like, oh, I'm saying the wrong thing, or they disagree, and I'd kind of like go a different direction. So like no wonder they were like, where are you going with this? Because I would be like trying to like see where they were and like change my opinion or like, you know, analysis off that. So that was a big one. But also just in like, yeah, like I think I'm not a, like the thing in consulting especially, right, was like everyone would be like, okay, like off the top of their head they'd be like, yes, so it really boils down to three things, and then they'd like talk about three things. That is something that I'm like trying to practice and practice and be better at. But I do think that like sometimes when someone asks me a question like that on the spot, I'm like, okay, how many examples do I have of this? And when you really listen to people say it, like what will happen a lot is they'll be like, okay, it's these three things, and they might only say two, or they'll like get to three and they'll be like, oh, and then another one. So I guess like what people are trying to do there is like be like, okay, I'm gonna say three things, and then they like start thinking of the three things. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like if they're thinking and processing that in live time, because I'm processing it out loud, I don't know how many I'm gonna count off. And that's not helpful to the listener. So what I've been trying to do is to do that and be like, you know, oh, you know, it's a couple of things, 1, 2, and then I like try and, you know, I really do try and like now structure my answers into like 2 or 3 points. The worst is when you said like really boils down to 3 things, and then you say 2 and you're like I think that's it, I don't know if there's another one coming to mind, or you have a mind blank. I feel like that's happened to me before. But then at that point I think you could just be like, you know, actually really it's like it really does just boil down to those 2. So I think it's like it's constantly like counting out how many points you're going to make and then summarizing those points. People are like, oh yeah, there's 2 points, I can remember them, and then when I talk them back to you, I'm going to count 1, 2. This got very far from blogging, but I guess it's like an explanation of like why I find this format quite enjoyable and beneficial to me as well, which is good. But yeah, I do think that like I have so much respect for the vloggers out there, because I love having a window into people's lives, and it is so therapeutic sometimes to watch and listen to. And I don't know what it is that I feel called to like share in my life and routines that I do. And I think maybe when the time comes, I will have an idea of that. But I also don't want to just like vlog for vlog's sake. Like it's gonna be a lot of editing for me, and you know, I've already told you I don't love editing. But having said that, the script editing is actually quite easy. So I have enjoyed that, and the fact that I'm not like, I think I mentioned in my podcasting journey episode that like I used to do these interviews and it was so hard to like cut them down from like an hour and a half into 40 minutes, or like half an hour was my goal. And getting the video and like the audio and like removing all the arms, like I was just trying to do like too much. And I think like doing the Oscars video that I did and putting the photos on it, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. Like, and that wasn't like outrageously difficult. And you know, if I was to do like this vlog, it's like kind of stitching together. I know that kind of like terrifies me, but I'm kind of keen to just like take some of the content that I made yesterday and see if I can like what the process would be like, and if I find it enjoyable. Like, I'm always open to challenging myself and learning new things. But I also want to be like realistic about like, you know, like I am applying for full-time roles, and like I know that whatever I do, like I want to make sure that it is like something that's very easy for me to kind of, you know, maintain and to like, yeah, not feel like I can't do both. And I know with like, I guess the current formats that I'm exploring that are a little bit more unfiltered and unedited do seem to really work for me. But, you know, we'll see. Like, we'll see where things land with people, and everyone's got very different, yeah, things that I enjoy watching and listening to. And so, yeah, let me know if there are little things that you are interested in, because I'm happy to put in some effort. No. I'm happy to explore different things and topics as always. Coming up this week, I'm going to be sharing like a 30 lessons or like reflections that I've had on turning 30. And maybe off the back of that as well, like, yeah, just what was the other thing I was going to talk about? Or just like how like feeling lost in your 20s is actually like, is still kind of a good thing. And I think like that kind of ties into my reflections on 30, but like it is a good thing to feel lost, because like you are putting yourself out there and trying all these different things that like, it's almost like the more that you're like, you feel lost and you're trying so many different things, that the more you do that in your 20s, like the more I reckon the clarity you're gonna get at 30, where you're like, okay, I'm now taking this like bird's eye view and looking back and being like, okay, what do I want to keep? Like, what is bringing me joy? What like really wasn't me, but I was kind of trying to make that fit because I felt for whatever reason that I should be like that or something. And so, yeah, I feel like those two might come hand in hand. And then, yeah, maybe I can share some more just like birthday content this week. Let's see what springs to mind. We're having a retro ski themed party on Saturday, so that'll be fun. I'm keen to share my outfit. I've just got the shoes arrived today, and I've just got some like big retro glasses that have arrived, so I'm super excited for that. And lastly, I was just gonna mention, if you're still even here, about my new top. So I went to this like consignment or thrift shop in Tahoe City on the weekend last week, and I really wanted some more like logo tees, and this one says it's like Ralph Lauren, which I just really don't believe. It didn't have a price on it, and she was like, I was like, everything, like the other top I got was $5, so I was like, what is it? She was like, oh, they're like $1. I'm like, okay, fantastic. So it's like definitely not any, I think it's cute anyway. My dog's called Ralph. I thought it was just meant to be, and it's kind of, the colour's kind of giving me my notes app energy vibes, like in terms of the shades that I picked of the kind of like pinky reds, burgundies, which, fun fact, I actually chose them off my like colour analysis wheel that I got when they were like, these are your best colours and stuff. So yeah, I was like, look, if this ever turns into anything, at least like whatever the brand colours are, I can get merch that'll suit me. That is the best way to pick your brand colours. But yeah, anyway, I am gonna chill tonight because I want to make sure that I get over this head cold super quickly, and lemon and ginger water has been my miracle worker at this stage. Anyway, I'll leave you there, and keen to share some of my reflections on 20s and 30s over the next few days. Hope you have a good evening / day.